It's a late night, you can't sleep, your old lady's passed out next to you. You hop on your phone, and after 15 minutes of looking at oiledwrestlers.com, you land on the Alienware website. There are a few tips and tricks that I have picked up after buying 2 very high-end Alienware desktops that will not only save you hundreds of dollars for your coin purse, but can also get your PC sent to you several weeks early, and overall just make your buying experience that much smoother. Then after your shiny new rig arrives and you've regained your composure, I have several more tips and tricks for you to make sure that you will get the most reliability and longevity out of your new desktop, and that you're ready for the overall ownership experience of an Alienware desktop or laptop. Let's get it. So sharing my screen over here, I am on the Alienware website. I hide my face for just a tick. I know, that ugly mug will be back in just a moment. There's a little tab over here. It says call or chat. The first option says chat with a live representative. This is a 24-hour man call center, and they are based in India. They are very friendly people, but they will always try and upcharge you on every single service available with Dell. So unless you genuinely want these services that they are offering, and I do recommend that you tell them, please give me a minute, and then you Google whatever it is they're trying to sell you on. Every Dell Alienware desktop or laptop comes with a 1-year basic warranty, and that is generally enough if something comes DOA or dead on arrival, or you have an issue 9-10 months down the road, where you can send those components back as long as there's no proof or evidence that it has been modified or mined with. At the beginning of starting this virtual chat, you will have a pop-up that asks you if you want a transcript at the end of this conversation. Click yes. If they know that what they're saying is going to be recorded and potentially turned into their supervisors, they're going to be on their best behavior and try and make you a customer. Not to mention, if they ever try and pull some slick shit, you have an email transcript that you can use as evidence. The next one is if you are military, nowhere on their website is there a military discount advertised. However, if you ask for it, it is 10%. 10% off a $4,700 PC is $470. That's enough to at least knock down the tax and then some. Also, if you are a returning Alienware customer like myself, you should definitely mention that, hey, I am a loyal Dell customer. They like that. A quick word to the wise from one Alienware owner times 2 to a potential Alienware owner. There is no reason to buy an Alienware Aurora R9, 10, 11, or 12 now that the 13 and 14 are out. The 13 used 12th generation Intel CPUs, and the R14 is AMD Ryzen CPUs. I do have a video I just made where I go over all the substantial differences with the new R13 and 14, and I highly recommend you watch that if you have any doubt about how much better the R13 and 14 are than the previous R lineup. In fact, I'm just going to say if you're planning on buying an Alienware PC, you watch that video anyway. It's got a ton of information packed in it. I crammed that video full. That's weird hand thing I just did there. The next one, if you want to get into a little psychological warfare here, you can kind of play the whole, ooh, I'm kind of on the fence about this. I don't know if my wife will let me loosen up the wallet with a $3,000 purchase on this desktop or laptop. Much like a used car salesman, they will actually start pulling these discount codes out of their tukuses. Trust me, I've seen it twice. Next up, they do have a program called Dell Preferred Account, or DPA, which I was very skeptical of at first, but I did a lot of research and it actually seems like a pretty solid program. It's basically a loyalty account with Dell that unlocks a whole bunch of awards. It does require a credit pull, so hopefully you have decent credit. I don't know what the minimum requirement is, but basically what this does is allows you to finance your purchase. So if you do not have the upfront cost of one of these beastly rigs, there's that. But besides just financing, it can actually separate your payments and installments across 12 months, interest-free, and you'll be getting 10% off the purchase, which again, with a high-end PC, that's a good chunk of change. Not just that, but you also get cashback rewards and you will get discounts at checkout with accessories like the Alienware mouse, keyboard, and headset, which I am going to be reviewing on this channel in the near future. So I'll let you know if those are plastic sacks of crap or if they're actually pretty sweet. Next up, if you are a streamer or a YouTuber, I recommend that you keep your receipt of the purchase of this PC because you can swing it as a tax write-off and say that you're editing for your YouTube channel or using it for your live streams. As long as you are earning income, definitely a substantial amount of income to where the IRS is starting to receive taxable income documents on you. Something like a PC, streaming equipment, shoot, even your desk can be a tax write-off that will counteract some of your income throughout the year, so you don't owe the IRS a big fat check at the end of the year. Granted, if you start balling out, you're still gonna owe at the end of the year. Not that I'm balling out or anything. No balls over here. That didn't sound good either. Next up, while you are building or configuring your PC, I would like you to have 3 tabs open: Newegg, Amazon, and PC Part Picker, because there are a lot of components that are simply more expensive while you are building a pre-built. For example, RAM. A lot of times you can skimp out on the RAM, get the bare bones, which is usually 16 or 32 gigabytes, depending on what you're building, and then you can sell those sticks on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, or Craigslist if you're not afraid of getting stabbed, and buy yourself a cheaper upgrade down the road, because something like RAM is incredibly simple to install. Now, this is the order details page after you've already placed your order. order. I do have my personal information blurred out over here, but if you come over here to the right side, you will see contact customer support. You will have a drop down window, and if you select my order status, generally you can start a chat right here. And a lot of times just by contacting them about the status of your order, they will actually bump you up or push you up over other orders of people that aren't actively contacting them. So if you already get expedited shipping and then you contact them on top of it, you can technically cut down a couple of weeks from your delivery process, which is good. That is best case scenario. Granted, everything is dependent on weather and natural events. For example, there was that huge cold front in Texas when I ordered my R11. Trucks were snowed in, and it actually took me almost a month and a half to get my R11. But yes, I highly recommend to contact them under my order status and give them a little push in the right direction. So your Alienware desktop arrives and you're extremely stimulated, but I need you to reel it back in a little bit, get your composure and lower your heart rate. We got to inspect this bad boy. Once you take this bad boy out of the box, I said bad boy back to back. Not going to edit it out though. I keep it real, as the kids say. Do a thorough inspection of your desktop. That does include popping off the side panel. Yes, I know people that buy a pre-built might not even want to look at the guts, the internals of a computer. It might make them a little bit queasy and woozy, but it is very simple to remove the side panel on the Alienware R PCs. So please do that. Take a look at your GPU. Take a look at all the wires. Make sure nothing's frayed, everything's connected. Because if your PC isn't booting up right out of the box, it might be something like a loose connector. These things do get shipped quite a ways, and there's some bumpy roads out there. Now, I can't speak on the laptops, but do not be surprised if your Alienware desktop comes extremely dirty. It is very common from what I've heard from the Alienware community and forums and YouTube videos that these PCs come very dirty, which is very weird because in essence, they should be building the PC and then instantly shipping it out once the building process is complete. But it very much seems to me like they sit in a warehouse and collect dust because they come relatively dusty sometimes. So just take a lightly damp cloth and give her a wipe down during your inspection process. The next thing I recommend you do on your PC is come down here to the settings. I do have that shortcutted down here in my taskbar. You just right click and pin to the taskbar and then come over here to apps and uninstall all of the Dell/Alienware bloatware because there is going to be a ton. As you can see, all I have left in here is 3 programs, the bare minimum. In fact, I could probably ditch these. But when you first buy an Alienware desktop or laptop, you will have roughly 9 to 10 programs to go through and uninstall. Now, I do recommend that you do a quick Google search to make sure that what you're uninstalling is something you won't use. But one of them is a mobile cloud service, so you can cloud stream to your phone. I will never use that. One of them is literally the Alienware store. It's an application like the Apple Store, which is just a pretty place for you to browse to spend more money on Alienware products. The next thing I recommend you do is get very acquainted with ACC or Alienware Command Center. It is actually a fantastic program and does everything from controlling your RGB/LED lighting on your case to setting up fan curves to setting up audio profiles. It can be used as an all-in-one library for your games that will put all of your launchers into there. And more importantly than all of that, it is a fantastic overclocking suite that rivals MSI Afterburner. I know, absolute blasphemy, but it is very similar, and you can overclock or undervolt your CPU, GPU, or RAM in a very user-friendly and easy to navigate menu. I do have a full guide on ACC or Alienware Command Center where I go through all the tabs and menus. That is linked in the description below, and I highly recommend that you watch that video and get acquainted with ACC because you're going to be spending a lot of time in there, especially if you like to dabble, tinker, and overclock, which by the way, the R13 and 14, now having 87% better cooling, are ripe for overclocking. I'd be very cautious overclocking in R9 through 12. I have done a lot of cooling tutorials, installing a second intake fan and applying new thermal pads and paste to my 3080. But short of what I did, which is an entire case swap on my R11, it was the first ever documented not only on YouTube, but properly documented on the internet, period. Short of doing that, there really is only a certain limiting amount of modifications and upgrades that you can do to fix Dell's poor cooling design. Literally, the R13 and 14 have obliterated all of those issues, which is great. The final tip or trick I want to leave you with is just to be ready for the mixed reactions you are going to get as an Alienware PC owner. You're going to have people out there called Alienware haters. They hate all pre-builds. They subscribe to the build, don't buy mentality. And as somebody that generally builds PCs himself, I would have to tell all those people to go ahead and look online for the going price of new CPUs and GPUs currently. Shit, even DDR5 RAM, which is in the R13 and R14. Not only that, a lot of people would prefer to buy a pre-built because, well, it's already assembled, so you can just get down to gaming and editing and enjoying your PC instead of tinkering with it. If you are somebody that wants to learn how to work on PCs, the R13 and 14 are a great design because they have 55% more space in the inside than the previous R series PCs, so you can actually work in there a little bit easier. And there are a ton of guides on YouTube around Alienware PCs. But then on the other side of the house, you're part of the Alienware community. There is a very tight-knit community of Alienware owners. There are forums out there where people talk for hours. I don't know if these guys don't work or if they just ignore their wives or what. There are forums that you can get help 24 hours a day. If you just drop a question in there, people will get back to you lickety split. There's also communities on YouTube. I have amassed a pretty good audience of Alienware fans and owners that chat in my comment section all the time. So if you just drop it there or in my community Discord, most likely you will get an answer. If I see it in my community Discord, I will answer personally, but I'm really trash with my Discord. I don't check it as much as I should. I admit that. I'm trying to be a better man this year. If you enjoyed this video, got value from it, and it helped you to save a couple of $100, slapping a thumbs up on the video, i.e. liking it, will help it to get seen by more potential Alienware owners, so this information will reach and assist them as well. Subscribe for more videos like this. I cover a ton of content around Alienware PCs. Check me out at Facebook Gaming, where I am a partner and upload gaming content almost daily. In the description below, you will find a discount code for AIM controllers if you are in the market for a paddle controller, and if you're sick of being naked, I do have a link to a merch store as well, where you can pick up cool things like this tie-dye t-shirt, that beach towel, the coffee mug that's not in my hand but should be. I'll see you tomorrow, because I upload daily, generally. Peace.